The RAS 47 pistol, let's check it out. Century Arms is one of the largest firearms importers in the world. They have been bringing in AK-47s for a number of years, actually bringing them in as parts kits and putting them together, which are under U.S. importation laws. Now, in the past, Century Arms has had some quality control issues. Some of them were beyond their control because they were putting together parts from other nations. But one thing that they decided to do is go with US-made AK. So they started making their own line of AK-47s and AKMs. These rifles, starting out with the C39 and then they went with the C39 V2, those are both milled receivered AKs. And then they introduced the RAS 47. There had been some problems early on, a little bit of heat treating issues, but most of those issues have been worked out. And from the two RAS 47s that I have a rifle and a pistol, and I have had nothing but good success. Now, I've had the RAS rifle version for a good while, and I've done a lot of different upgrades to it. It's been a solid rifle from the get-go. This is an all USA made AK-47, every part, which makes it great because, you know, these guns have come from a number of different countries. In fact, 33 nations make an AK-47 of some sort. And over 105 nations use these as their rifle for their armies. There have been over 500 million AK-47s made in the world. So there's a lot of AK-47 rifles out there. So let's go ahead and make sure the gun's unloaded. We're going to remove the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Now, RAS stands for Red Army Standard, and Century has a whole line of ammunition, and then also trigger groups and different accessories, cleaning kits. There's a whole line of things in the RAS or Red Army Standard line. But one of the things I really love about the RAS 47, whether it's in the pistol form or the rifle, is that it has a black nitride finish on it. The finish on these rifles, it's above anything I've seen on most of your standard rifles. Now, when you get into Krebs and Fuller and some of those rifles, they're definitely, upgraded, and a lot of the finishes are. But for a good baseline AK-47, this has one of the best finishes I've seen. Now, one thing that I've added to this pistol is the SB Tactical Sob 47 arm brace. This really gives a lot of extension. It gives you more points to be able when you're shooting, and we'll talk a little bit more about that during the range session. But without any kind of arm brace on here, it's really regulated as pretty much a range toy, to be honest, because there's no point back here that you can rest it on your cheek or however you want to shoot. Now, in full disclosure, I just want to mention that Century Arms did send me this pistol for the test and evaluation, but I don't get paid from Century Arms. So I just want to make sure, because a lot of times I do review a number of things from Century. Now, the barrel is 10.6 inches in length. It's black nitride, so it's not a chrome line barrel, but the black nitriding actually is a smoother finish. Even than the chrome, it doesn't peel, it doesn't flake. It has a 1 in 10 twist, and it's a Green Mountain barrel, and it's actually 4150 steel. Now, the muzzle brake is one of the birdcage style, but it also has the AK detent, and it is a right-hand twist. There are 3 notches on here so you can set this to the correct position. The front sight post has ears, and it has the traditional post. Any of your aftermarket posts that fit your AK will fit in here. That allows for windage and elevation with your front sight. The furniture up front is Magpul Mo AK furniture. The gas block, as you can see, it's very short, the gas tube, but this does fit all of your AKM furniture. And your rear sight is the standard AK sight. One thing about AK sights is they're bomb proof. They're a little bit crude. They move up to the front, gives you a little less sight radius, but they are tough. And it does have the Magpul-Mo AK pistol grip. We do have the dimple in the receiver, which is standard for AKM, and this is the way they line up everything. And then you have your safety selector, which has the notch, and this will allow for when the bolt comes back, you can lock it into place. And then when you're finished, you can drop the safety selector and the bolt goes home. Another feature that is different than most of your AKs is this paddle mag release. I mean, it's wide, it has leaves that come out. It's about 3 times larger than your standard AK mag release. So it makes it really easy to grab and to pull out. Or if you use your magazine, it gives you even more surface to be able to pop it out. Good solid fit. Now the RAS-47 is an AKM, and that means it has the stamped receiver, which makes it a little lighter weight than your standard milled receiver, which Century Arms makes the C39. And so this gives you a little bit less weight, and this is really what currently the most of your Eastern Bloc countries are using in their militaries. It's actually 1/16 in thickness, and it's 4140 steel. And they do come with the receiver mount for your scope mounts. Now let's take a look inside. We're going to remove the dust cover. It has a smooth matte finish to it. I really like that. Recoil spring guide rod. Pull our bolt back and remove it. Now the RAS-47 has one of the RAK-1 trigger packs. It's a American-made trigger, and I think they were using Tapco originally, some of the single and double hooks triggers, but they went with their own proprietary trigger. And I think Tapco was having a few issues at one point. But this is a very smooth trigger. We're going to look at trigger pull once we go back into the rifle. But there's also one of the side plates in here to keep those pins, still, which really adds to it. And you'll notice that the springs on the trigger are not the coiled springs. These are your standard springs. And what this does, it eliminates trigger slap. And so that's definitely a big advantage. But it's got a very smooth, it's a double hook trigger, and it is pretty smooth. But because of the nitriding, the finish inside is really well done. And just looking over the interior of the rifle, which tells you a lot about the manufacturing, it's very impressive, to be honest with you. The bolt carrier is skeletonized right here, so it gives you less mass coming back. It does have kind of a phosphate finish on it, a little bit different than the exterior on the pistol. And so that's very similar to your mil-spec type coating. It does have a chrome plated piston, and then of course we have our bolt. And let's go ahead and pull it out. There's some kind of lithium grease or something in here that's a little bit discolored. It's kind of a white color. And then here we have our bolt. One of the things that has been purported, especially with the early model RAS-47s, is that there was a lot of peening and a lot of problems with the metal, especially the bolt carrier. And we're going to take a little bit of a look at that. I've shot 600 rounds through this pistol. We were using some of the Red Army Standard, and this is some of the 124 grain full metal jacket boat tail, and it is made in Russia. Now we're going to start out looking at the back of the bolt carrier. Right in here, I know that there has been reported a lot of wear. This does have a little bit of wear right on that edge. This actually fits into your recoil spring guide rod right here, and it feeds down in here. Here you see how it kind of feeds into this little groove. And really the only problem that could be caused if that peens too much is to get caught in that groove. But there's a lot, that thing would have to mushroom out, double its size. So I don't really see any problem with that. The rear of the bolt looks great. There's a detent that's there on purpose to line the bolt, so that's not a problem. But you can see a little bit of markings there. There's some wear. There's some wear on this bolt for sure, but it looks mainly like surface wear. But I know Robski at AK-47 Operators Union put one through about 5,000 rounds, and there's some wear right there. A little bit of wear. The big thing you've got to be really concerned about is it locking up and keeping your headspace. But one of the things that he noticed was the wear was starting to thin out after a few thousand rounds. But I don't see anything that's any real problem. Here with the bolt carrier, they've got some kind of grease in here. You can see the surface wear, and this would be, you know, for that anodized finish. Right here, there's a little bit of wear, but it's just surface wear. There's no deformation of the metal. Then right here on the piston, I don't see any deformation here as well. Here on the trunnion, the trunnions are cast. I don't see any kind of, in fact, all the nitride is holding up well. I don't see any problems at all. All right, guys, I have my RAS 47 rifle. I've shot quite a few more rounds. I've put about 1,500 rounds through this rifle. One thing I will say up front is that the sheen on the dust cover is nicer than it is on the pistol. The pistol is more of a matte finish. This has a little more sheen to it. Go ahead and disassemble it. Get our bolt out. Here inside the rifle, instead of the retaining plate on the pistol, we have the shepherd's hook, which I really like the retaining plates. But we do have the RAS trigger pack in here, which makes it nice. And again, we have that standard spring. As far as wear goes, I see very little wear on the trigger. And the inside looks just fantastic, like on the pistol. As far as the bolt carrier goes, I have one of the Circle 10 handles on the charging handle, which I really like. But here you see the wear. It is just surface wear here. We can see wear in different places. Some of it's kind of bright, but that has to do with the anodized finish. But no peening. Maybe right here at the end, a little bit of wear that's a little more than just surface wear. Of course, one of the big points of contention is this little nub at the end. There is some wear right here, but again, very little. In fact, this is less than on the pistol. So take that as you will. So here we have the pistol bolt, the rifle bolts on the top, pistol bolts at the bottom. You're seeing a little more right here, a little wear with the pistol that you don't have on the rifle. But on the top, a little bit right there. And then here, yes, that's kind of an unusual marking right there, but there's no, it's just surface all the way around. And here we have the two bolt faces. They look fine. Guys, I'm going to tell you, Nothing Fancy did a video which was excellent about the RAS 47 and talked about a lot of the issues and discounted most of it. So I think that while there are some rifles out there that have had problems, there's no doubt. And if you're going to shoot 5,000 rounds through your rifle, you know, that is one thing to consider. But I think overall, I know the rifle has held up extremely well, and the pistol's doing fine. And guys, this is just what it is. You can look and see. I'm not trying to hide anything. It's just the way it is. And this is my experience. It may or may not be your experience. Now this little lever is tight, so we're going to take our bolt, just bring it up, makes it much easier. And we're going to try the gas tube. That's pretty tight. We're going to try a little screwdriver and pop that on out. There we go. Just gives you an idea of the tolerances. You can see the nitriding on here. Here you can see the barrel. Again, the nitriding has that kind of a sheen to it. I really like that. It's a matte sheen, but it's beautiful. Now let's go ahead and add our bolt and bolt carrier. One thing I do want to just note here is I get people sometimes asking me questions. I come into, run into them face to face. And at NRA last year, I had someone come up to me and ask me, he said, I bought an RAS 47 on your recommendation. It's been good. I've enjoyed shooting it, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff out there. What are your true feelings about this? And guys, I run into people all the time, that ask me about gear. So it's important to me that you make a good purchase if I recommend it. And I mean, that's just straight up. And so we're going to put this dust cover on. So guys, I'm telling you, if there's something wrong with this rifle, I would not want you to buy it. Your mileage may vary, but for me, I've had nothing but good success with the RAS 47s. Let's check the trigger pull operation. We have a little bit of take up, very smooth, and then we have a snap. Now that's not anything, of course, it's AK trigger, but for an AK trigger, it's very smooth. I want to look at the reset. Right there. You'll notice it pops a little bit. It's not that slap that you get with the standard trigger. We're shooting some 124 grain full metal jacket. This is Red Army standard. And I want to thank Century Arms for sending this for this test and evaluation. Now, as far as at the range, we didn't have any problems with any kind of malfunctions. We were using different type magazines, and you know, of course, the PMags work great with the pistol configuration. And of course, I have one of the SB Tactical pistol braces on here. You know, you can see that it's somewhat unwieldy. It's almost really, to me, a range toy. So one of the things that the AR always had over the AK was they had that buffer tube. At least you had that. And of course, now with the advent of the arm brace, it makes it really nice, whether you're firing it from your cheek or even firing it from your shoulder on occasion. And then of course with the strap, you know, if that's what you need, then it really comes in handy. I mean, there's a lot of different options with the arm brace, and so that you don't have without it. One thing I love is the really short package. You know, it's really handy. It's just got that little over 10.5-inch barrel, and it's just a great shooting gun. The balance is right, and which, you know, AKs are known for, but it still has, to me, the reliability of the AK. Price on the RAS 47 pistol, and that is without the arm brace, but it does come with the Magpul furniture and your PMag. The retail price is $749.99. I've seen a number of places that have these around the $650 mark. So, you know, and then if you want to add the brace, you can. The brace is really simple. It just has a lever that just slides in under the pistol grip. So there's no real modification. All you need is a screwdriver to loosen that up, and you can slide it right in. Now, as far as pros and cons go, pros to me, I'll start first. It is a US-made AK-47. One of the problems in the past has been that we have depended on parts coming into the country, and it was up to the whim of different, you know, export laws and import laws, and it could really hinder the flow of firearms parts and things like that. Now, with all these parts being produced here in the United States, it really makes things a lot better. The Nitride Finish on these rifles, to me, also is superb. The Green Mountain 4150 barrel with the black nitride also is a really great thing. In fact, with the rifle, these guns are very accurate. We didn't test the accuracy just because mainly we wanted to show it as the pistol form and just having some fun with it. But if you want to see more accuracy, you can go to the original review, and I'm going to have that linked as well down in the description and here on the video. The Magpul furniture really puts this together, I think, and just the smoothness of each of the functions, you know, even the bolt coming back really smooth. And we had no reliability issues. As far as cons go, one con is not having a brace on here when you get it, in my opinion. You know, it's just more difficult. Again, it's kind of ungangly to shoot. A lot of people like to have these as truck guns. That's fine if you like shooting it like that. But for me personally, I really prefer to have the arm brace on it. Now, one con would be some of the reputation of some of the parts having some issues. The bolt carrier and the bolt, definitely there is some wear. We looked at it, but it doesn't seem to be anything that's going to hinder shooting the rifle. The cast trunnion, I'm not super excited about. That does lower the price and make these more affordable, but you have to weigh it out between what you're looking for and price. Of course, the 7.62 by 3.9 cartridge is known worldwide and has been very effective. Now again, I want to thank Century Arms for sending the RAS 47 pistol for this test and evaluation. One thing that I will say though, guys, again, is that go to different reviews, see what they're saying, evaluate, and go ahead and put all the pieces together before you make a purchase. It's really great to be able to get different feedback from different people. You know, you're going to have that one guy that's had all kind of problems with his. You know, it's good to look at that. It's good to see it. But, you know, get out there and do your own research. And again, it keeps the YouTube gun community honest, and that's really what we want. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. At the end we have a bird cage. At the end we have one of the bird cage Now we're going to return our gas cube. This rifle, this pistol comes without. It does have a chrome plated piston.